are not lazy, you are not weak, and you are not undisciplined. You're just trying to hold together something that most people have no idea how heavy it actually is. A job, a marriage, kids who need you, a house that always needs something, a body that's starting to remind you it's not 22 anymore. And somewhere underneath all of that, there's a version of you that wants more. Not more stuff, more you, more control, more follow through, more of that feeling when you actually did what you said you were going to do. That feeling's not gone, it's buried. And today, I'm going to show you how to dig it back out. Not with a 5 a.m. cold plunge, not with a $300 planner, not with some system that requires 2 free hours a day you don't have. We're going to talk about real discipline, the kind that works in the middle of chaos, the kind that doesn't require a perfect schedule, the kind that actually fits the life of a father who's in it. Stick with me. This might be the most honest conversation about discipline you've heard in a while. Here's the first thing we need to get straight. Everything you've been told about discipline is built for someone who has very few obligations. Think about who's selling you the discipline content online. A 24-year-old with no kids, a guy who works from home, someone whose biggest stressor is what protein powder to take. That's not your life. Your life has a 7-year-old who needs help with homework, a meeting you can't miss, a wife who also had a hard day, a phone that hasn't stopped buzzing since 6 a.m. The discipline framework most people sell is designed for a person with maximum control over their time. You have almost none. And so when you try their system and it falls apart by Tuesday, you blame yourself. You shouldn't. You tried to use the wrong tool. Here's what I want you to understand. Discipline for a father is different. It has to be. Not softer, not less demanding, just designed for the actual terrain you're walking on. A soldier doesn't wear dress shoes on a hiking trail. You need the right gear for the right ground. That's what we're building today. Let me ask you something real quick. When was the last time you finished a week and felt proud of how you showed up? Not perfect, just proud. For a lot of guys I talk to, they can't remember. That's not because they failed. That's because they've been measuring themselves against a standard that was never meant for them. We're going to change the standard. Not lower it, aim it correctly. Discipline is not punishment. It's not deprivation. It's not suffering through things you hate every single morning to prove something to yourself. Here's the simplest definition I've ever found. Discipline is doing what matters when you don't feel like it. That's it. Not forever, not perfectly. Just doing the thing that matters when the feeling isn't there. Because the feeling is never reliable. Motivation comes and goes. Feelings come and goes. But your commitments, those are yours. Now here's the part nobody talks about. For a father, discipline isn't just personal. It is visible. Your kids are watching how you handle hard things. They're watching what you do when you're tired. They're watching whether you keep your promises to yourself. They're building their own internal blueprint for how a man operates, and they're using you as the source material. That's either terrifying or motivating, depending on how you look at it. I say use it. Let it be fuel, not guilt, fuel. Every time you want to quit something, remember there's a kid in your house learning from your response to difficulty. Now, let's talk about what actually gets in the way, because it's probably not what you think. Most fathers think their enemy is time. It is not time. It's identity drift. Here's what I mean. When you become a father, something shifted. The way you think about yourself changed, and for a lot of men, in that shift, they quietly stopped being the main character in their own life. You became the supporting role, provider, protector, problem solver, taxi driver, lawnmower. All of those things are real. All of those things matter. But somewhere in there, the version of you that had standards for himself, that version got quiet. You stopped holding yourself to things. Not because you're weak, because you were genuinely trying to be selfless. But here's the problem with that. A man who has no standards for himself eventually has no identity outside of his roles. And when that happens, discipline doesn't work. Because discipline requires knowing who you are trying to protect, who you have to be. You have to be someone worth protecting. That sounds harsh. I don't mean it harshly. I mean, you have to care about yourself enough to hold yourself to something. Not because you're the most important person in your house, but because you are the foundation. And the foundations have to be solid. Let me give you a real example. I talked to a father. I'll call him Marcus. He hadn't worked out in 2 years. He told me he just didn't have the discipline. But when I asked him deeper, he said something that stuck with me. He said, I honestly don't even remember what I'm supposed to be doing for myself anymore. That's identity drift. He hadn't got lazy. He had gotten lost. And the fix wasn't a new workout routine. The fix was reconnecting with who he was trying to be. So before we talk about systems and tactics, I want you to sit with one question. Who are you trying to become? Not what do you want to accomplish. Who are you trying to be? Write it down if you can. Even one word. Strong, present, reliable, sharp. Pick one. That's your anchor. Now we have something to build around. All right, let's get practical. I'm going to give you 5 rules, not tips, rules. Rules are different from tips. Tips are optional. Rules are how you operate. Rule 1, protect the morning, even if it's short. I'm not telling you to wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm telling you that whatever time you wake up, the first 20 minutes belong to you. Not your phone, not the news, not the kids yet. 20 minutes of intentional start. That could be prayer, that could be reading, that could be writing down your 3 priorities for the day. That could be a walk to the end of the driveway and back. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that you own the start of your day before the day owns you. 20 minutes every day. That's rule 1. Rule 2, anchor habits to things that already happen. You don't have time to build a whole new routine. I get it. So stop trying to find new time. Start attaching new habits to existing moments. You already make coffee every morning. That's an anchor. While the coffee brews, 5 minutes of stretching, done. You already put the kids to bed every night. That's an anchor. After the last kid's light goes out, 10 minutes of journaling or planning, done. You already eat lunch. That's an anchor. Eat without your phone for 10 minutes, done. This is called habit stacking. You're not adding time to your day. You are using the structure you already have. Busy fathers win this way. Rule 3, make 1 non-negotiable per day, not 5, 1. One thing that you will do today, no matter what. It might be a workout. It might be reading for 15 minutes. It might be calling someone important. It might be working on that project for 30 minutes. One thing, non-negotiable. When the day explodes, and some days will explode, everything else can move. That one thing doesn't. You protect it like a meeting you can't cancel, because it is. It is a meeting with your future self. Rule 4, end the day with a completion statement. Before you fall asleep, say one thing out loud or in writing. Today I did what I said I would do. Or if you didn't, say that too. Today I didn't hold the line. Tomorrow I will. No drama, no spiral, just honesty and reset. This practice sounds small. It's not small. Over time, it builds something called integrity with yourself. And integrity with yourself is the actual foundation of discipline. Most men are breaking promises to themselves constantly and never acknowledging it. So the promises stop meaning anything. This practice makes them mean something again. Rule 5, audit your energy, not just your time. Every father knows time is limited, but most guys don't think about energy. You can have an hour free and be completely useless in it because you're depleted. Energy is the actual resource. Start noticing what drains you and what restores you. For most fathers, sleep deprivation, bad food, no movement, and constant digital noise drain energy hard. Movement, even short, restores it. Quiet, even 10 minutes, restores it. A conversation with someone who builds you up restores it. You can't be disciplined when you're running on empty. Managing your energy is part of your discipline practice. Those are the 5 rules. Let me recap fast. 1. Protect the morning, even 20 minutes. 2. Anchor habits to existing moments. 3. 1 non-negotiable per day. 4. End the day with a completion statement. 5. Audit energy, not just time. Simple, practical, designed for a man who is in the middle of a real life. Workout. I want to talk about something we don't discuss enough. The moments when it all falls apart. Because they will happen. There will be a week where the kids get sick and you haven't slept and work is on fire, and the last thing on earth you can think about is your morning routine or your non-negotiable or your energy audit. That week is coming. I don't know when, but it is coming. And how you respond to that week will determine everything. Most men respond one of 2 ways. The first way, they beat themselves up. They tell themselves they're not disciplined. They say they never stick to anything. They spiral. And the breakdown goes from 1 bad week to 3 bad months. The second way, they treat it like weather. Bad weather doesn't mean the season is over. It just means today is hard. You don't abandon your habits when a storm comes. You button up, you get through it. And when the storm passes, you go back to your routine. Here's a phrase I want you to remember. Never miss twice. 1 missed day is a miss. 2 missed days is a start of a new habit, a bad one. You don't have to be perfect. You have to be resilient. A father who shows his kids resilience is worth more than a father who shows them perfection. You fall, you get up. You say nothing dramatic about it. You just get back to work. That's the model. Here's the part that motivates me more than any goal I've ever set. Think about this. If you hold your 5 rules for the next 365 days, not perfectly, but consistently, what does that do? Your kids watch you wake up with intention every morning. They watch you do hard things even when you're tired. They watch you keep your word to yourself. They watch you fail and get back up without making a scene. You are installing software into them, and that software doesn't just affect their childhood. It affects who they become at 30, at 40. It affects how they raise their kids. Your discipline creates a downstream effect you will never fully see, but it is real, and it is one of the most powerful gifts a father can give. Not a college fund, not a house, not perfect grades. The model of what a disciplined man looks like. That's the inheritance. Now think about what the opposite looks like. A father who keeps starting over, who says he'll do things and doesn't, who tells his son to work hard but won't do the hard things himself. Kids don't listen to what we say. They mirror what we do. You want a disciplined kid? Be a disciplined father. It's that direct. One more thing before I close. Discipline is internal, but tools help. I'm not going to sell you something you don't need, but there are real things that support this work. A physical planner, not an app, forces you to write things down. Writing activates a different part of your brain than typing. If you don't have one, get one. Simple. No nonsense. Just a place to put your daily non-negotiable and your end-of-day statement. A training program built for real life. Not a 2-hour gym session. Something that works in 30 to 45 minutes and can be done in a garage or a hotel room or a backyard. Movement is non-negotiable. Not for aesthetics, for the mental edge it gives you. And an accountability structure. This could be one other father, one guy you check in with weekly, not a group chat where everyone posts motivational quotes. One real person who will ask you directly, did you do the thing? Accountability isn't weakness, it's leverage. The strongest men I know use it. At Altus Discipline, we build tools and resources specifically for fathers who operate in the real world. No fluff, no hype, just practical gear for the mental and physical work. Links are below this video. Check them out when you're done. Let me leave you with this. You don't have to choose between being a great father and being a disciplined man. In fact, you can't fully be one without the other. Your discipline is your fatherhood. The way you handle your morning tells your kids who their father is. The way you honor your commitments tell your kids what integrity looks like. The way you get back up after a hard week tells your kids what resilience is. You are the curriculum. The question is, what are you teaching? I believe in the father who's watching this. Not because you're perfect, because you're still in the game. You're asking the hard questions. You are putting in the work. That matters more than you know. Now go hold the line. And if this hits home, subscribe to this channel. We talk about this every week. Discipline, fitness, mindset, and the real work of being the father your family needs. No fluff, no hype, just the work. See you next video.